Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm back with a new layout for Hip Kit Club for Mixed Media Monday, and I'm using the 2020 August kits. And I wanted to start out with the stamp that we got in the stamp kit. It is this really fun nested chevron stamp from Pink Fresh Studio, and it's really cool because you can take each arrow apart and use one, use two. You could create all kinds of things with that. So I wanted to try to create a background using all the colors from all the ink pads that we've received in previous kits as well as this month's kit. And I just recently saw Jen Scow last week do a rainbow style background design with this stamp set and all of the ink pads, and I thought that I would give something similar a try. So this is going to be an experiment that we're all going to watch together, and then I'm going to wind up making another background because I totally change my idea. So this first background that I make, I'm not going to wind up using it for my finished layout, but I am going to save it and possibly use it in the future. But I wanted to keep the process of this background in the video because it may inspire you, it may give you some ideas, and yeah, so we're just going to go for it. I picked out the light purple color that we got this month. Let me get all of these ink pads out here. That is the soft lilac color. And I'm going to go with the frosting color, which we got a few months ago, which is pink. And I'm just basically inking up the stamp and then lightly spritzing it with water and then stamping it down. And you get this really fun, smudgy watercolor effect when you do that. So if you want a crisp image when you stamp, then definitely don't spritz it with water. I did coat my whole background here with gesso first, so I could allow for all of the spreading and bleeding of the colors, and I used clear gesso for that. So that red color was from a few months ago. That was the Stamp Market Cherry Kisses color. And then we're just going to combine from the pinks, the reddish colors, to the oranges, yellows, into the blues. And I'm purposely making this kind of in a wave shape. I was thinking, instead of just going straight across, perfectly straight with the chevrons, I thought I would kind of arc it up and then swoop it down and kind of make like a wave. And in my mind, it looked better. You know, you can kind of see here, it's okay, it's interesting. I love the colors and I love the stamp, but it's not turning out as well as I had hoped. But we're going to keep going here because, you know, I'm a huge proponent of keep working at it, see what you can do with it. I did another row coming backwards, and I like this. I think it's really pretty. It's really bright. I love the rainbow effect. I love the smudgy factor. I like to say when I do a layout like this that it looks like you left it out in the rain and it got wet and all the colors bled around, and I love that effect. So when I made this background, I had one photo in mind that I wanted to use, and it was a bright sunny pool photo with a lot of blue. And then my printer died and I had to quickly hook up the new printer that I just bought, which involved a lot of downloading of software and trying to hook up this and that, and I could not get it to work right when I needed it to work. So I had to choose a photo that I had already printed, and you'll see that here in just a minute. I thought I would kind of soften this up by adding some white acrylic paint splatters on it, and I'll show you here in a minute why I'm going to change directions. Now this background is great, but I'm going to start from scratch. This is the picture that I'm going to wind up using, and it's still a pool photo, but it's more on the subdued side. It was an overcast day, and I feel like this photo is more on the darker side, and this colorful background just did not match the mood of this photo. You know, it was the sun had gone behind the clouds, and she just looks so peaceful and relaxed. It's not like a wild, sunny, crazy, woohoo pool photo. It's more of a, oh, let's just be quiet and chill type photo. So I thought, okay, I need a new background. I'm not going to throw that other one away, don't worry. I'm going to do the same technique, but I'm going to use fewer colors. I'm just going to use the two blue ink pads. This blue color we get this month, and it's called Hydrangea Petals. It's a really pretty bold blue color, and then I'm going to mix and match that with the Summer Vibes color that we got a few months ago. And those are both the magnetic stackables from Color Philosophy. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm inking up the stamp, spritzing it with water, and kind of overlapping these and just creating a nice, fun, messy watercolor effect background. And I instantly love this. And this only took me a few minutes. This really did not take a long time. And I did coat this with gesso off camera. I didn't show that again because you've seen me coat gesso on cardstock a million times. But I used the same clear gesso, and that's what is allowing the watercolor effect here. You know, if I had not used gesso and I stamped this down, it's going to stamp perfectly crisp and it's going to soak right through the paper, and I'm not going to be able to do any blending with it. It's going to just immediately stain the paper, and that's the shape it's going to stay. The gesso allows me to kind of add water to this and move the color around a little bit, and you can already see that some of it is bleeding together, but other areas you can still see the arrow shape. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to look, again, like it got caught in the rain. I love that effect. And I feel like these colors match the mood of my photo much better. You know, I've got the color of the pool, or the water in the pool, and then I've also got the hint of her swimsuit under the water, which is the same dark blue as this ink. So I thought that is the perfect photo for these colors. And so that inspired me to kind of go with a monochromatic theme. So what I'm going to wind up doing is, okay, yeah, there's the close-up. See, I love how that looks. It got caught in the rain, right? It's exactly what it looks like. So I went through, what I was about to say is I went through all of the Pocket Life cards, all of the embellishments, stickers, everything in the kits, and picked out everything that I felt went with this photo that was blue or aqua, any type of blue. And so I thought, okay, let's just do an all blue layout. And pretty much that winds up happening. I do wind up adding in a third color. But yeah, I'm just working on layering here. And I want the photo to go right there on the right-hand side of the page because she is facing the left. And I like my subjects' faces to be looking across the layout. So, and I have three or four, I think, of those little clouds left from the exclusive die cut pack, and I want to incorporate those. So what I thought I would do, if I was going to use clouds up in the top part of the layout, then I wanted it to look kind of like a sky. So I thought, okay, I need some blue up here. I didn't want it to just be solid white. So I went back to the stamp with the Summer Vibes ink pad, the light blue color, and just stamped a little bit up there. And then I'm going to use my brush and some water to kind of just smush it around because I don't want the chevron shape to be up there. I just want this to be kind of a color wash of light blue to give the hint of a sky. And I do a couple layers of that. I do wind up letting that layer dry because you can see it's very light. And then I do wind up just taking the ink pad and smushing it down right onto the cardstock. And let's not forget about this crystal drop bottle from Nuvo. I had to use that again. I did this last week and became obsessed with using it this way, scraping it right onto my background using a palette knife. And this gives you a little bit of texture, a little bit of shimmer, and also another shade of blue because it's more of a, I think it's called midnight blue, and that's exactly the color I think of when I see it. So I just thought I would add to the watercolor effect in a couple spots around where the photo is going to go by smudging a little bit of that in. And that's really easy to do. It dries really quickly because I'm smudging it pretty thin. It's easy to blend in with your finger. It's awesome. I didn't have much success with this particular color watering it down and using it as watercolor, but just scrubbing it right onto the background works great. So I'm adding another layer of the light blue up at the top, and I'm going to keep doing that a few times as that area dries because I want the sky to be a little more obvious. So here's where I add in a third color. I thought, okay, if I'm going to have a sky and some clouds, this is a pool photo, let's have a sun. So I punched a yellow circle. I'm going to distress the edges, and I want it to not be bright sunshine, because again, this is going to be a subdued layout, you know. So I'm going to smudge some white gesso over it just to soften it up, make it look a little hazy, because this was a day where it was cloudy. It wasn't storming or raining, but it was just a lot of cloud cover, and that changes the effect of a pool photo. You know, when it's bright and sunny, the water in the pool looks turquoise or just this super bright blue color. But when it's hazy and cloudy outside, the water in the pool photo looks totally different. You can see here how it looks almost just like clear, you know. And so I wanted to have the same effect of everything that I used on the page. So I'm going to start to build everything, the layers and everything. I'm going to ruffle up the edges of the Pocket Life cards, added a little bit of white tissue behind my photo there, and I just want parts of these cards showing around the edges, and I really like that effect. It gives the hint of these colors, and you notice it when you look at the layout, but layers aren't something that, you know, it's not a main design element in the finished product. It's just something that adds to the overall design effect. I'm going to go ahead and trim off a little bit of the white border of that happy piece. And here is my background thus far. You can see now I have that nice runny faded light blue sky. And then I'm going to work on some more blue things. I remembered this pattern paper had some blue on it, so I'm going to cut out a leaf and a flower, and I think I'm going to wind up cutting out more later. But again, I was just looking for blue things, so I'm going to cut those out. And now my background is officially dry, and you can see the shimmer there from the Nuvo drops. I'm going to pop up my photo using some adhesive foam there. And that's just adhesive foam that I get from Walmart in the craft section. It's you get 40 sheets for $5, and they're all in rainbow colors, and I believe they're 5x7 size. But yeah, they're easy to cut, easy to size, whatever size you want to use it for. So I love that stuff. So I'm going to try to create a little cloudy sun sky up at the top there using what I have thus far. And then I went through these chipboard stickers, which are exclusives, found a couple more blue things on there. Found this flower here that I'm going to tuck in somewhere. And then I thought, well, since I've got a yellow sun, we might as well add a couple more yellow things. So I found a yellow flower. I'm also going to use this little dark blue happy. There's a yellow star on the other sheet. I'm going to use that somewhere. And then I went through the puffy stickers. Didn't find anything on the puffy sticker sheet. I thought about incorporating a rainbow, but it was just, no, it didn't work. It was too bold and bright, and I wanted this layout to stay on, you know, I wanted it to kind of resemble a cloudy day with a sunshine, if that's possible. I'm going to go through the Simple Stories sticker sheet, and it's, or not sticker sheet, sticker book, and it's geared toward travel, but there are a ton of things in here that you can use on any layout. I'm going to use a couple of things here, some of the blue word and phrase stickers, and then I found that little piece with the sunshine on it. I'm going to use that. This piece says relax. It was perfect. It was the perfect color, the perfect size, and perfect for the photo, because that's what she's doing, you know? I mean, her eyes are closed and she's just like, oh, this is perfect. So yeah, I found lots of things in there to incorporate onto this page, and since those are all stickers, I wasn't sure where they were going to go, so I stuck them to cardstock, cut them out, and now I can move them around and put them wherever I want to put them. So we're going to continue on adding the yellow things in. So I pulled out some yellow thread that I'm going to add right there for a little pop of color and texture underneath the photo there. And I am going to layer some things on top of the photo. That sticker there is just kind of dropped on top of the photo for the moment, but that's not where it's going to go. I'm going to add in some darker blue thread underneath the photo where that happy piece is going to go. And, you know, this was an instant where my title was just sort of handed to me. When I saw that happy die cut, I thought, I have to use that. It's the perfect size. It matches. It goes with what my photo's trying to say. So I didn't really have to spend forever coming up with a title. It's so funny how sometimes the title takes me the longest, and then other times it's just there for you, ready to use, you know? Every layout is a different journey, and you never know where it's going to take you until it's done. You know, when I started this layout back in the very first part, when I made that rainbow layout or background, that was my intention, to create a rainbow page, but that did not happen. So yeah, and I love how that turned out, but I also love how this turns out too. I think it's very pretty, and it forced me to, you know, not use any pink, which is hard for me because, you know, I love me some pink. Having two girls, I scrapbook with pink all the time, but it is fun to challenge yourself to use, you know, just a few colors, or use something that you don't use a lot. And one thing that I have noticed about the August kits is there are a lot of things for boys. You know, I know a lot of scrapbook collections are geared toward girls, but there are a lot of blues and images in the die cuts and the stickers and things that are perfect for boys. And I'm excited and anxious to see a lot of boy layouts this month. I struggle with that because I never have to make boy layouts, you know. I have two daughters, and I rarely scrap a layout about my husband by himself. I don't know if I've ever done that, which I probably should, you know, because he's kind of important too. So yeah, that's a challenge. So for me, this is kind of a, you know, boyish color scheme, but it's got a girl photo. So, you know, you can use whatever colors you want for whatever photos you want. So don't let, you know, the colors dictate what you use or what you don't use. Anyway, off of my soapbox, all I'm doing here is adding white gesso to things to make them a little hazy, kind of cloudy, if you will, like those little, the die cut clouds. I wanted to fade them out a little bit. And then I decided I needed more clouds. So I went with my white cardstock here. I love just going for it and making little fluffy clouds. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm going to cut, I think, 4 of them. And I'm going to leave these white. Well, that's a lie. I'm going to leave them white, but I'm going to add a little bit of something to them to give them some dimension. But primarily they're going to be white. Because when I looked at them, I thought, you know, this wasn't a day where the clouds were super white. It was kind of a grayish day. So I'm going to kind of make them not so white. But I do want to add some texture behind the sun. So I pulled out some light blue thread because I wanted this to be very subtle. Just a little bit of something messy poking, that's not a word, peeking out from behind the clouds. Wow. Now I'm making up words. That just didn't even make sense. Peeking. You'll see what I mean here. I didn't use yellow thread because I wanted to just keep it subtle with the blue. And here's what I did to darken up the clouds and make them a little gray. I just pulled out a gray gelato from my stash, scraped it along the bottom, dipped my finger into a little bit of water, and smudged it. So they have a little bit of a gray effect because it was one of those type of days. And I feel like this kind of hides the sun a little bit and kind of gives the effect of clouds, because you can tell by the colors in the photo that it was not super bright and sunny. But I wanted the effect of a sun, but just hidden. I popped up the sun, and I'm going to pop up a few of those clouds. Some of them are going to be flat, and some of them are going to be dimensional. And I think that by adding dimensional foam behind some things and then gluing other things flat just increases the depth when you look at the layout. You know, it does really look like some things are coming closer to you while other things are farther away. And I love that effect. I'm going to use that little star, the yellow star up behind that cloud by the sun, and then the blue star right by the H in happy. And I'm going to use the two happies. Happy Happy, and then the Relax. I thought I was going to use it down at the bottom, but it's going to go up top because I got the bright idea to do some stamping. I'm going to use that camera sticker there and make sure that everything is glued down. Little Simple Stories heart there. Again, it was just one of the blue things. Like I said, I went through and picked out everything that was blue. And I wanted to use this little piece here with the sun. I couldn't quite figure out where to put it, but I wanted to use it. And then I realized I could turn it to where it looks like a diamond shape, and it fit right inside, right there. I was like, okay, that was meant to be. That's where it's going to go. It fit right inside that chevron, so we have another little sun there. Okay, so these are the Heidi Swap stamps. We get the set of the solid ones and then the outline ones. And I practiced a little bit on some scrap paper here, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the light blue, if I wanted to do the darker blue, if I wanted to do the solid or the shadow or both or what. So I practiced, and I felt like using the solid and the detail stamp on top of it was too much, and I wanted this to be kind of soft. So I'm just going to go for it, and I should have drawn a line, but I didn't. So I'm going to start by using the solid stamp, and I'm going to make the word relax. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the light blue. See, it's already crooked. I'm terrible sometimes. Whenever I stamp something perfectly right onto the background, I mean, I celebrate that because it's a miracle. Because the A and the X kind of go crooked, and then I realize after I photographed this layout that my X, I should have flipped it around the other way, because you'll see in the end, you can't really see it here, but I thought that I would make it a little bit darker, and so I go back over it again with the darker hydrangea petals color. And I like how that looks, even though it's not straight. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to wind up, I don't do this on camera, but I'm going to tell you, because otherwise I feel like it would be cheating. I'm going to take some white acrylic paint, and I very lightly paint along the bottom of the A and the X to make it even, because it was crooked and it was bugging me. It's a little detail that you can't even really see. You can see it in the close-ups at the end, which I'll point out, so you know that I did cheat. But you know what? I wasn't about to throw this layout away and start over, because that's against my policy, right? Yeah. I'm adding some more Simple Stories stickers, basically just creating a little cluster of everything down there at the bottom. Gonna fussy cut out a couple more flower pieces, and I found the little yellow sprigs on there because I felt like we needed a pop of yellow down there. So that is what's gonna go right there. And I'm gonna pop that blue flower up because dimension, as always, love that. And oh yeah, what am I gluing down? I guess things that weren't glued down. I do add a little bit of yellow thread behind this blue flower down here because, you know, I'm obsessed with thread, and to this day I still don't know why. I just love how it looks, and it's just going there. I'm going to add in some of these enamel dots. I think those are from Echo Park. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. I'm going to use the light blue ones in a couple spots, and then a couple of these Simple Stories brads. I'm going to use 2 of the yellow ones because this side over here needed a pop of yellow, and that was the perfect little thing to add. And then the other yellow one is going to go right by the H right there. And those are good old-fashioned brads that poke through the paper and you bend the metal pieces back. Worked great. Going to make sure my thread is glued down. And we're almost done here. More enamel dots up at the top. And then I got brave and thought, you know what, I need to stamp again. So I'm going to go back to the light blue and stamp Relax up in the sky. It's going to be very subtle, and I actually really love how this turned out. I was very pleased. Oh, sorry about the light there. When my head gets in the way, it messes up the white balance. But I'm going to stamp Relax and then use my water brush to kind of fade it out, to give it that it got caught in the rain look. So it's very subtle, and I really love how that turned out. And then I do add my journaling off camera. This video was getting very long, so I didn't film that. But anyway, that's the final layout. I really love how this turned out. I think it gives the effect of a nice, relaxing pool day without it being too sunny, you know? I love these colors. Here are all the close-ups. You can see how the water affects the stamping when you use gesso on the background. There are all the layers, the clouds, you know, still sunny, but more cloudy. There's the relax up at the top. It looks like it got left in the rain. How many times have I said that? The layers behind the photo. Yeah, I took a lot of pictures here, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it gives you some ideas. Even if, you know, you try the very first thing that I did, it's okay to change your mind. You know, sometimes your photo dictates your background, or you run into a malfunction. Oh, there's where I painted along the A and the X. Yep, that's where I cheated. Can you see it? I didn't want to leave that out. But it's okay to change your mind. You know, you got to make what makes you happy and what works for you in the moment. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time.